here tonight. And a pleasant good evening. Let's come around, and here come the defending world champions. The Yankees won the opening game 8-0. Bernie Williams, the star offensively, collecting a home run and 6 runs batted in. They had Knobloch and Jeter and O'Neill setting the table the entire game. And El Duque allowed only 2 hits in 8 shutout innings. But tonight we begin anew, and the Budweiser starting lineup for the American League Western Division champion, Texas Rangers. A lineup change up and down the batting order by Johnny Oates. Royce Clayton leads off at short, only the 3rd time he's batted in the leadoff spot all year. Rusty Greer in left, Ivan Rodriguez behind the plate. Juan Gonzalez in right field, his numbers against Pettit. Palmeiro the DH, Todd Zeile at 3rd. Roberto Kelly, the former Yankee, gets a nod in center. Lee Stevens at 1st. And Mark McLemore, by and large a leadoff hitter the entire year, drops down to the number 9 hole. And they'll be facing the 27-year-old native Texan, Andy Pettit.
You see Pettit's numbers on the season, the relatively high walk total for Andy Pettit. They feel that was a mechanical problem that was corrected around mid-season. Really 2 different seasons. Pettit was 5-7 in his first 16 starts, 9-4 over his last 15 starts of the season. See the scouting report on Andy Pettit. Leads the American League with 69 wins over the last 4 seasons. A big key for Pettit right there, the cut fastball that he runs in on the hands of the right-handed hitters of Texas. Needs to make sure he gets it in there far enough. You leave that ball out over the plate, the Rangers hitters will hurt you. The best pickoff move in the league has not really been that much of a factor this year. Only 1 pickoff. The word is out. Andy Pettit, be careful with your leadoffs.
Take a look at the New York Yankees defensively. They'll go with Ricky Leday in left field. Bernie Williams is in center. Not only did it with a bat, he was flashing that gold glove leather in center in the opening game 2 nights ago, with Paul O'Neill in right. Brocious, Jeter, Knobloch, Martinez along the infield, and Joe Girardi will work behind the plate with his buddy Andy Pettit.
Andy Pettit, as I mentioned, has been particularly effective in the second half of the season. Over his last 13 starts this season, he's allowed only 1 run in the first inning of those ball games. Very important for Pettit and the Yankees to get off to a good start.
But even more important, Bobby, for the Rangers to get off to a good start. They are so badly in need of some kind of offense early in the game.
It seems so funny to talk about the Texas Rangers and say they need to have offense.
Broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. So we are set to go in the Bronx. Royce Clayton, 1 for 10 in his 2 starts as a leadoff hitter this season. But he's in there to begin things tonight. And it's strike 1. We're underway in New York.
Well, we talked about Pettit's cut fastball that he'll run in on the right-handers. He also throws a straight fastball that he'll keep on the outside corner. A good straight changeup, a good overhand curveball. Control within the strike zone is a big key for Pettit. Joe Torre told us he felt he was nibbling a little bit too much early in the season.
A ball and a strike on Clayton, a .288 hitter during the regular season with 14 home runs, 52 batted in. He played the first half of the year with a very bad shoulder, and once he got healthy, he came on strong towards the tail end. The 1-1 from Pettit. A check swing and a miss. A ball and 2 strikes on Royce Clayton.
Well, you'll be able to tell very early on if Pettit has his good cut fastball working on the Texas right-handed hitters. The left side of the Yankee infield should be very busy. A lot of ground balls to Brocious at 3rd and Jeter at shortstop if he's getting that cutter in on the hands of the Texas hitters.
Tried the breaking ball in the back door and it missed. 2-2 on Clayton. The last 4 division series games for the Rangers, they have hit .126 and been shut out 3 of the 4 games. The last time they scored a run in a postseason game was on the 30th of September when Rodriguez had a 5th inning single to score Juan Gonzalez. That was against Andy Pettit in game 2. Still 2-2. There's enough adrenaline in this ballpark tonight to liven a corpse. I mean, they get fired up here in the Bronx for postseason baseball, perhaps unlike any other venue.
They come early, they get loud early, and it only gets louder as the evening goes on.
High fly ball into left center field. Williams will wave off Ricky Leday. One gone.
Number 29, Rusty Greer.
Texas is a team that generally jumps the opposing team early. They're 62-20 when they score first, and they scored 129 runs in the first inning of games during the regular season, second only to the Cleveland Indians.
Load away on Rusty Greer, a 300 batter, 20 home runs, 101 batted in this season. Greer has had a tough final month leading into the postseason. Was hit in the eye on a thrown ball during batting practice. Blurred his vision. Broke a bone in his face. Had to miss a few games and came back and was hit in a game, second to last series of the year, and injured his shoulder.
A hit on that right shoulder with a Mike Holtz fastball down in Anaheim. They say he's fully recovered, however, from that hit by pitch.
Fouled out of play. It's 2-1 on Greer. Speaking of getting hit, our old buddy Don Zimmer, he's A-OK. You kidding me? He got hit with that foul ball into the Yankee dugout in game 1 of this series. He was still on the bench when the game came to an end. He's got a helmet down there, however, tonight. On the ground to Jeter. 2 away.
Zimmer told me before the ball game that his wife Soot was kidding him. He'll do anything to get on television. Even knocked down a foul ball with his jaw. Ball hit him just below the left ear there. Very fortunate he was able to just turn his head enough that it was a glancing blow rather than a direct hit.
Well, there's a lot of metal in that head for Don Zimmer, and that's not poking any fun at him. He had 2 very serious injuries when he was playing coming up through the minor leagues. One playing for Brooklyn back in 1956, suffered a fractured cheekbone when he was hit by Hal Jeffcoat of Cincinnati and missed the rest of the year. 2 down, nobody on for Pudge Rodriguez, batting in the 3 hole here tonight. Ball 1 away. Rodriguez has only batted in the number 3 spot 4 times the entire season. Generally, they go with McLemore at the top, and Rodriguez hitting in the 2 hole with Greer number 3, but he's shaking it up as Johnny Oates here tonight. 1-1.
Well, Pettit has used that cut fastball sparingly here in the first inning, which I think is a great game plan for him. Many times he has a tendency to fall in love with that pitch and try to use it too often, and there's such a small margin for error when you're throwing a fastball on the inside part of the plate, especially to a good hitting ball club.
1-1 to Rodriguez. On the ground, and it gets by Tino Martinez into the corner, and that'll be a ground rule double as it bounces into the stands. Well, now they're sending Rodriguez back to first, and Johnny Oates wants to know what in the world is going on. Rodriguez assuming all along, as were we, that this turns into a ground rule double.
See the high chopper hit down the first baseline, hits off the heel of Tino Martinez's glove, and a fan reaches out over the tarp right there to make the play. One more look at the defensive play by Martinez. He's unable to come up with it. That's ruled an error on Tino Martinez at first base, and Johnny Oates over there pleading his case with the umpires. He's
still out there having his say with the judiciary tonight. The crew chief is Jim McKeon, who is the second base umpire. The first base umpire, Tim Wilkie, made the call, bringing Rodriguez back to first base. Rhodes continuing this conversation with Chuck Merriweather, the home plate umpire.
You see one more look. The ball climbing up Martinez's left arm. The fan reaches out over the tarp to make the play. Base umpire Tim Wilkie right there on top of it. Got a pretty good look at it.
And I guess they're claiming, Bobby, that the fan, almost like an interference, leaned over. So they will not give Rodriguez second base. An error by Tino Martinez with 2 away here in the opening inning. And now it'll be Juan Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a .326 hitter, 39 home runs, 128 batted in during the regular season. Keep an eye on Rodriguez. He's not your normal catcher in any way, shape, or form. He had 25 stolen bases this season, was thrown out 12 times. He's the first catcher in Major League history to hit 20 or more home runs, steal 20 or more bases in the same year. Ball 1 to Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's interesting. These two teams control the running game in different ways. The Yankees use Andy Pettitte and that tremendous pickoff move to keep runners close to first base. The Rangers use Pudge Rodriguez behind the plate with his pickoffs and strong throws to second base to control the running game.
Low and outside to Gonzalez. 2 balls and no strikes. Big pitch coming up right here for Andy Pettitte and the Rangers slugger Juan Gonzalez. A 2-0 count, a hitter's count to a dangerous hitter. And it's on the way. On the outside corner, Gonzalez didn't like the call by Chuck Merriweather. 2-1.
And once again, Pettitte using that fastball on the outside corner. Doesn't really have a lot of sink on it. It tails away from the right-handed hitter a little bit, but it's enough different from his cut fastball on the inside part of the plate to freeze hitters when he's able to hit that outside corner.
To Gonzalez. Hit down the right field line and out of play to even a count at 2-2. So now the Yankee Stadium crowd will come alive.
Now Juan Gonzalez name littered all over the batting leaders in the American League. Home runs, RBIs, extra base hits, slugging percentage, and runs scored.
2-2 pitch. Driven hard into right center field. Williams will get it. And the inning is over. The Rangers leave a runner on. The Yankees come to bat against Rick Helling when we return. And Zimmer, better than 50 years in professional baseball. Of course, he was the interim manager the first 36 games of the season while Joe Torre was recovering from prostate cancer. Here's the Budweiser starting lineup for the lieutenant. Chuck Knobloch leads off in second. Derek Jeter in short. Paul O'Neill in right. Bernie Williams is in center field. Got his 10th postseason home run in the opening game of this series. Tino Martinez at first. Chili Davis tonight the DH. Ricky Leday is in left. Scott Brocious at third. Joe Girardi behind the plate, and they're facing Rick Helling.
See Rick Helling's numbers on the season. Couple games over 500. The ERA of just under 5. He allowed a major league leading 41 home runs on the season. Major reason for that, he goes up the ladder with the high fastball. If he doesn't get it up high enough, it becomes a very hittable pitch. He complements that with a very nasty overhand curveball.
Defensively for the Rangers, it'll be Greer, Roberto Kelly, the former Yankee in center, Juan Gonzalez in right, Seal, Clayton, McLemore, Stevens the infield, And a 7-time Gold Glove winning catcher, Ivan Rodriguez, behind the plate for Rick Helling. Chuck Knobloch to lead things off in the Yankee first inning of a scoreless game, hitting at .292, 18 home runs, 68 batted in during the regular year, and it's strike one. Knobloch, a good opening game, 2 for 4, drew a walk, scored a run.
Boy, Knobloch, much like the rest of the Yankee lineup offensively, very patient hitters. Will work a lot of deep counts. Very good 2-strike hitters. They're not afraid to hit with 2 strikes on them. Really put a lot of pressure on that other pitcher to throw the ball over the plate.
Bush Knobloch hit that screaming line drive that caught Don Zimmer the other night, and that's why he's sporting the heavy artillery here in Knobloch's first at bat tonight. Popped up into right field. Easy play for Gonzalez, one away. You know, we joke around about it now. It's easy to do because Zim is okay.
Well, they're even talking about perhaps putting up some kind of netting or plexiglass in front of the dugouts here at Yankee Stadium. You see Don Zimmer being carried back into the clubhouse the other night. A very scary moment for everybody. Nobody more relieved than Chuck Knobloch, the guy who hit the ball that hit Popeye over in that first base dugout.
That's baseball, that face. He is baseball.
The man has never drawn a penny in any other occupation other than baseball.
Derek Jeter fouls it out of play. Second leading hitter to Nomar Garciaparra in the American League this year. 349, 24 home runs, 102 batted in. Darryl Strawberry, the DH in game 1. His pal Chili in there tonight.
Derek Jeter and Nomar Garciaparra engaged in a very spirited battle for the American League batting champion this season. Garciaparra pulled away at the end of the season. You see Jeter and Bernie Williams right there in the 2-3 spots.
They're the first pair of shortstops to each hit better than 345 in the same season since 1900. 1-2 on Jeter. Well, we could talk all day and all night about how special Derek Jeter is as a player, as a person, and how much they love him here in New York. 2-2. He is the man.
I just can't imagine. Good-looking single guy, plays shortstop for the New York Yankees, for crying out loud. Lives in the city. What else could you want?
2-2 pitch, just missed outside. Full count on Jeter. Jeter, only 25 years old, a native of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. Foul back to the screen. Well, we asked him, single, good looking, Yankee shortstop, what's it like?
You know, I have no complaints whatsoever. The only thing I complain about is the traffic in New York. You know, we're treated as kings. We've won basically every year I've been here. We've been in the postseason. We've won 2 championships. And one thing, if you play for the Yankees and you win in New York City, the whole team is treated like kings. So I have no complaints.
I'm sure he doesn't. Popped up into foul ground, and that'll drift out of play.
Jeter did a nice job this at bat, laying off that high fastball from Helling. The fastball just off the outside corner, but now with 2 strikes, he has to protect a little bit more. Let's take a look at the Jeter meter. Career season for Derek Jeter, 24 homers, 102 RBIs, scored 134 runs. Once again, the patience of the Yankee hitters drew 91 base on balls.
3-2. And again, he fouls it off. What does this do for a hitter, Bobby, seeing this many pitches in your first at bat?
I always felt it was a tremendous advantage for a hitter. The more pitches you can see in your first at bat of the ball game, the better read you get on that pitcher for the subsequent at bats that you're going to have. Also, a better scouting report to take back to your bench.
Helling the 3-2 again. And again, Jeter able to foul it into the seats.
But Jeter has such a great ability to fight off pitches inside, and occasionally will drive that ball hard to the opposite field. He can inside out the ball, hit it to right field. He can turn on the ball and hook it down the left field line. Just a multi-talented hitter up there at the plate.
Payoff pitch. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Jeter didn't like it. Helling his first strikeout, 2 gone in the Yankee first.
Jeter may have a right to complain after this pitch, only because there was a pitch earlier in the sequence at 2-2 that appeared to be in the same location. That one was called a ball. This one called a strike. See, Pudge Rodriguez sits on the outside corner and reaches across his body outside of his right shin guard to receive that ball. That appeared to be off the plate.
2 down, nobody on for Paul O'Neill. 1 for 4 in the opener. Drew a walk, scored a pair of runs. He looks at ball 1 away.
O'Neill's been a little bit bothered by a sore right rib cage. He crashed into the wall in Anaheim on October 2nd. Injured that rib cage. He says it feels much better.
Pitch, and it missed outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Jeter's still upset with that strike 3 call by Chuck Merriweather. On O'Neill, and there's a strike.
Chuck Merriweather, the home plate umpire tonight, as you see O'Neill's numbers in his career against Helling. Merriweather has a reputation of being an umpire that doesn't like to ring hitters up on strike 3. Once you get to a 2-strike count, it's got to be a pretty good pitch for him to call strike 3, although the pitch to Jeter appeared to be outside.
3-1.
I said Paul O'Neill injured himself against Anaheim. That was against Tampa Bay on October 2nd. He crashed into the wall.
And then he got to manage the team.
Well, for a while. When the team went in the tank, he went in the training room. Right. He didn't want to take credit for it at that point.
3-1 on Paul O'Neill. The count again is 4. 2 batters in a row now, where Helling has gone to 3 balls and 2 strikes. But this guy's a horse, Bobby. He will take the ball, and he will carry you deep into a game.
Well, and he's had to throughout the season for the Texas Rangers, along with Aaron Seeley, Game 1 starter, Rick Helling. They've been the horses of this staff. They've had to throw a lot of innings, a lot of pitches this year.
Hit down the left field line, slicing into the stands.
This is another thing the Yankees offense will do to an opposing pitcher. Force you to throw a lot of pitches, foul off those good pitchers' pitches around the edge of the zone. Force you to throw one more pitch, hoping that you'll make a mistake over the middle of the plate where they can really hurt you.
Here comes a 3-2 pitch. In the air, left field, playable for Greer. Inning over. No scores. We head for the second. Back in the Bronx at Yankee Stadium, no scores. The Rangers come to bat here in the top half of the second inning against Andy Pettitte. Rafael Palmeiro to lead things off. 324 hitter during the regular season. 47 home runs, 148 runs batted in. Strike 1, Randy Johnson calls Rafael Palmeiro the most underrated player in the history of baseball.
That takes in a lot of players. It's pretty high praise.
Yes. Into left center field. It'll fall in for a hit. Takes a high hop, played nicely by Leday in left center. And he'll hold Palmeiro to a leadoff single.
Palmeiro still somewhat hobbled by that double knee surgery that he had back in the spring. Sweet swinging Rafael Palmeiro took an inside pitch, inside outed it into the gap in left center field. That ball did take a very unusual hop out there, almost got by Ricky Leday in left field. Palmeiro slams on the brakes and hangs on at first base for Todd Zeile.
Zeile .293 hitter during the regular season, 0 for 3 in the opening game with that big strikeout. He also drew a walk, and he takes down low and in for ball 1. Many will tell you that Zeal is playing far less than at 100%. A number of these Rangers have been hit with a flu bug here the last couple of days. Zeal also battling an injury to the rib cage. It affected him at the plate and in the field in the opening game. 2-0.
Zeal showing some good patience up there at the plate. Johnny Oates told us that he does not hit and run very often with his ball club. Doesn't want to give away any outs. But Todd Zeal is one guy he would use to hit and run. Very good bat control. Can guide that ball to the right side of the field.
Takes a strike on the 2-0 pitch. Zeal with his 7th major league team since coming up originally with the Cardinals. Despite the fact that 5 times in his career he's knocked in 90 or more runs, including each of the last 4 seasons.
Great hitters count right here. When Pettit has fallen behind in this ball game, 2-0, 3-1, he's basically gone to that fastball on the outside corner down around the knees. Try to stay away from the hitter's strength when the count is in the hitter's favor.
Palmeiro a short lead at first, and Zeal lines one in a shallow center that falls in for a hit. So here come the Rangers, the first 2 aboard on singles by Palmeiro and Zeal to begin the 2nd inning. But now comes the hard part. It's one thing to get guys on base. They didn't do much of that the other night. But the Rangers against the Yankees in American League Division Series play, covering 8 games with runners in scoring position, a .145 batting average. Only 8 hits and 55 at-bats. The last 4 games, they are 1 for their last 19 with runners in scoring position. Kelly fouls it back out of play. Well, the last Texas run we talked about in the playoffs against the Yankees, game 2, Andy Pettit on the mound in the 5th inning. A base hit by Ivan Rodriguez. Scored Juan Gonzalez. The 0-1 to Kelly. Chased a bad pitch and he's down 0-2.
This is where you would anticipate Pettit either trying to bury Kelly inside with that cut fastball or perhaps even bouncing a curveball on the plate. Kelly very much a free swinger as he's demonstrated in this at bat.
Got him swinging.
Now that was the cutter. Just off the plate inside far enough that Roberto Kelly cannot get the head of the bat on that ball. It just continues to cut inside. Starts out over the plate, whereas a hitter, you think you've got a pretty good chance to get the head of the bat on. That ball just continues to bear inside. See that rotation, kind of not a perfect backspin on that ball. It has a little side spin on it as it comes up there. What the pitchers call a cut fastball. It's not straight. It moves just enough to get off the head of the bat, down onto the hands of the right-handed hitter.
2 on, 1 out for Lee Stevens. And he's down a strike. Stevens 0 for 3 in the opener, drew a walk, also struck out. Very good numbers again for Stevens during the regular season. Pettit ahead at 0-2. So Pettit getting down to business after Palmeiro and Zeal started the inning with singles.
So much of a benefit for a pitcher to work ahead in the count. Now with 2 strikes on the hitter, Pettit can go a variety of different ways on the left-handed hitting Stevens. bounce a breaking ball, jam him inside with the four-seam fastball. I mean, he could afford to throw a couple of pitches out of the strike zone here, try to get Stevens to fish. See the numbers against Andy Pettitte in his career for Lee Stevens.
Palmeiro at second, Zeal at first, and now Andy Pettitte calls Joe Girardi out in front of the mound to make sure they're okay on the signs.
Joe Girardi, very much a calming influence, not only on Andy Pettitte, but the entire Yankee pitching staff. Veteran catcher, great receiver, great caller of a game. Has that ability to get inside that hitter's head and kind of guess what he's looking for and then throw the opposite.
That's what that engineering degree from Northwestern will add up for you. 0-2 to Stevens. Fastball up and in, moves him back off the plate.
And nothing pretty about that one. That was just a rare back four-seam fastball up and in, designed to push Stevens off the plate. He may even double up, come back inside again with a fastball to set up that outside corner for the finishing pitch.
Fouled out of play.
Got away with one there. He left that breaking ball too much over the heart of the plate. His catcher had moved way out onto the outside corner, hoping to get Pettitte to lead Stevens right out of the strike zone, but he left it up and over the plate and was fortunate Stevens only fouled it off.
Johnny Oates told us before the ball game, we need the one hit, the one break, just to get us going and make ourselves believe we can beat the Yankees in this ballpark. Broken bat roller. This could be two. Jeter, Knobloch, double play, ends the inning. We are scoreless after 1.5 as the Rangers continue to struggle. Scores we head for the bottom half of the second inning. Well, now that's big time there. Henry Kissinger, the Secretary of State for many years, and they ought to go ahead and name Ivan Rodriguez as the Secretary of Defense. Not a bad cabinet.
He'd get my vote. By far the best defensive catcher going in Major League Baseball, and has been for the last several seasons.
Bernie Williams to begin things in the Yankees' second against Rick Helling. It's ball one. What an opener for Bernie Williams. 3 hits, 5 at bats, a home run, 6 runs batted in game one.
Bernie Williams is a guy in his career, 39 games in the postseason, has driven in 35 runs. The 10 home runs tie him with Lou Gehrig, 4th all-time on the Yankee list. There's a couple of big names on that list ahead of him. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Yogi Berra. Not bad company for Bernie Williams.
Well, he's beginning to put himself in that kind of company up and down the line in his tenure here with the Yanks.
And he's really taken on more of a leadership role with this ball club as well. We talked to Joe Torre about the foul ball incident when Don Zimmer was hit on the bench the other day. Obviously, Joe Torre very upset. Bernie Williams was the player to come down the bench, sit down next to Joe Torre and say, "Are you still with us? Are you all right? Are you still with us?" Joe Torre said he needed that at that point. He needed somebody to come down and shake him out of that funk that he fell into when his buddy Don Zimmer was hit with the foul ball.
3-1 to Bernie Williams. It's fouled back out of play. Helling has walked only one of the last 53 batters he's faced leading off an inning. That's a terrific stat for a pitcher. Butch Rodriguez wearing catcher cam for us tonight here on Fox. And you get a look at this 3-2 pitch to Williams that he takes for strike 3, and he knew it.
It looked like Bernie Williams was caught looking for a specific pitch with 2 strikes, something you just cannot do. I mean, that's a fastball right down the heart of the plate, middle of the thighs. This is the location you would ask for a pitch in a home run derby. Man, good pitch to swing at. Bernie obviously caught looking for something else.
A very impressive start here tonight for Rick Helling. He's retired the first 4 batters and now will face Tino Martinez. Martinez hit 6 home runs during the regular season against the Texas Rangers. Went 1 for 4 in the opener. He lifts that ball into left field, playable for Greer. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, unlike some of the other Yankee hitters who got a real good look at Rick Helling in their first at bat of the ball game, fouling off a lot of pitches, working into a deep count. Tino Martinez, very aggressive in his at bat, goes up there and swings at the first pitch.
Now Chili Davis, designated hitter here tonight. Strawberry, the DH in game 1. Chili 19 home runs, 78 batted in during the regular season. He looks at a strike.
Who's shelling Helling? Darryl Strawberry 1 for 4 with a couple of walks. Chili Davis 4 for 15 with a triple and 2 home runs.
Chili's had a lot of those home runs in his career, as has Strawberry. 0-2. Davis, one of only 52 players in the history of baseball with 300 or more home runs, 2,000 or more hits.
It is 350th home run of his career last Saturday against Tampa Bay. That was a teammate of Chili Davis's very early in his career. Back in 1985, they said he was done.
Well, he's done here in a perfect inning for Helling. We move to the 3rd, no score. Back after this word from your local Fox station. We're back at Yankees Stadium. No score as we move to the 3rd inning. Look at that little fella. He wants the Yanks to get back up there and bat. But it's a Rangers turn, who missed on a golden chance in the 2nd inning against Andy Pettitte. They had singles to begin the inning to Palmeiro and Zeal. But then Pettitte fanned Kelly and got Stevens on the inning-ending double play. Ball 1 to Mark McLemore, batting in the 9th spot here tonight. See, McLemore has struggled against the left-handers this season, but ahead here in the count of 2-0. 2-1. Rangers won a franchise record 95 games during the regular season. As it goes to 2-2, they won their 3rd AL West title in 4 years under Johnny Oates. They led the majors in batting average, 2nd in runs only to Cleveland. Led the major leagues in hits, total bases, and slugging percentage. But they've not scored in this series. 3-2 on McLemore. With a line and a 3-2. Got him swinging. 2nd strikeout of the game for the Yankee left-hander.
You know, Tommy, look back to that first inning. Pudge Rodriguez with the hard ground ball down to Tino Martinez at first. The ball bounces off of Martinez's glove and over into the stands where a fan reaches onto the field. Now, according to the rule book, 6.09 section G, any fair ball deflected by the fielder into the stands, all runners shall be entitled to advance 2 bases. But as you can see, the fan reaches over into the field of play. Now another rule takes precedent. Rule 2.00 section D. Spectator interference. If a fan reaches onto the field to touch a ball, 1 base.
And of course, whenever you see a fan here at Yankee Stadium reach over into the field of play, it brings back memories of game 1 in that 96 championship series, down 4-3 in the 8th. The disputed home run, and Jeffrey Mayer leaning out over the wall, furious, was Tony Tarasco out there in right field. Woulda, coulda, shoulda for Baltimore. nobody on in the Ranger third for Greer, who bounced out to Jeter in the first. In the air down the left field line, Leday in the corner, and it's into the seats.
You can see only 318 down that left field line here at Yankee Stadium. It juts out quickly and gets very deep into the gap in left center at 399. But this area right over there in the corner, you can get some cheap home runs down that direction. Rusty Greer almost had home run distance on that lazy fly ball down the left field line.
1 ball, 1 strike to Greer. Fly ball into left. Leday drifts. He's got it to retire to side. We move to the bottom of the third. Still no score. Tomorrow's game, our friends at ESPN, it'll be Atlanta at Houston, Game 3, the opener in the Astrodome. Then the Arizona Diamondbacks, Buck Showalter's team, returns to New York to visit Shea Stadium in the Mets. Bob Costas, Joe Morgan will have that one on NBC. And then, Bobby, you and I on Saturday will be on hand for Game 3. Cleveland roughing up the Red Sox earlier today, 11-1 to take a 2-0 lead in that best-of-5.
Big emotional lift for the Indians. First of all, to get Pedro Martinez out of that ball game last night and mount a rally, win that game, and then they carried it right over into today's ball game, hammering the Red Sox 11-1.
Ramon Martinez will start that game, Pedro's older brother. And he'll be facing Dave Burba. Here we go in the Yankee third. No score in the game. And it's ball one outside to Ricky Leday. The Yankees in search of their first base runner of the night.
They get a look from catcher's cam. The next delivery from Rick Helling to Ricky Leday. Set up on the outside corner. This is a little too far outside.
We thank Pudge Rodriguez, the Players Association, and Major League Baseball for their cooperation in catcher cam as it's 2-1 on Leday.
May have noticed that one little extra peek back inside to Ricky Leday before Pudge Rodriguez set up his target on the outside corner, just to make sure Leday was not sneaking up on that plate. Keep an eye on that hitter's feet. Keep an eye on his hands. And you got to watch his eyes as well.
2-2.
Some of those hitters like to take a little peek back there as they take their practice swing, see where that catcher's set up, maybe give him an indication of what the pitch will be, or at least the location of the pitch. Part of the catcher's job is to make sure that guy's not peeking back there.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Leday, and the count has gone full. Brocious will follow, and then Girardi in the New York third. Foul tipped into the mid of Pudge Rodriguez. 4th strikeout of the first 7 Yankee batters that Rick Helling has faced.
Generally, Helling gets most of his strikeouts on the big breaking ball, but he's been getting them tonight with fastballs. Challenges Leday down low in the strike zone here. Foul ball directly into the mid of Pudge Rodriguez. Barely changed the direction of that pitch, went directly into the catcher's mitt. That doesn't always happen.
Now Brocious. First pitch swinging, drives one to straightaway center. Kelly's there, 2 away. Helling very impressive here tonight, Bobby. 8 up, 8 down.
And as I mentioned, he's really doing the majority of the damage against the Yankees offense with his fastball tonight, which has to be encouraging for him. You know he's got that curveball in his back pocket. He has not been consistent with the location on the curveball, but he's shown a very live fastball in the early going here.
High drive into left center field by Girardi, and Greer will go to the track to get it to retire the side. We played 3, and we are Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. If you'd like to learn more about the blimp, check it out at www.goodyear.com. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. This ballpark opened in 1923. Had the major facelift back in 1976. And the Yankee faithful hoping for their 3rd trip to the World Series in the last 4 years. The Rangers aren't thinking that far ahead. They're thinking about a run. Pudge Rodriguez to lead it off. On the ground, Tino Martinez. 1 pitch, 1 out. Bobby, what begins to happen? You've been on very good teams and made the postseason. You've been on some bad clubs as well. But Johnny Oates he did admit before the game tonight, his team is pressing. Starting to see their frustration.
Well, so many great hitters up and down this Texas lineup, guys that have done it on a daily basis for 162 ball games. Suddenly they go into the postseason, and I think each one of them takes a little bit too much of the load. They all feel that they've got to come up with the big hit, try to do too much at the plate. Pudge Rodriguez there chasing a bad pitch down low and out of the strike zone, grounding weakly to first base. I think they need to wrap more gum around that wad and then put it in their mouth. I think that's the key right there.
That'll get them turned around?
Absolutely.
Well, if this guy hits a home run, then you could have given Johnny Oates this advice a long time ago. And this guy is Juan Gonzalez. He lined out to center his first time up.
Take a look at a hit zone on Juan Gonzalez. Loves the ball anywhere up over the middle part of the plate. He'll drive the balls up and away to right field. He'll snap hook anything from the middle of the plate in. Generally, teams try to jam him in on the hands bad off the plate. You can also get him to chase high fastballs occasionally, breaking balls out of the strike zone occasionally. But this guy is just a good hitter.
Pops that one up, and it'll drift into the seats. Pettit ahead of Gonzalez at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boy, he has thrown up some frightening numbers, has Gonzalez. 30 or more homers, 100 or more knocked in, 4 consecutive years, 7 times overall. He has averaged 37 homers and 117 batted in his 9 full seasons. Pettit, the 1-2 pitch. Hit hard into left field. Leday at the wall. Goodbye. Juan Gonzalez has put the Rangers on the board for the first time in this series. Well, Bobby, that rolling up the gum was obviously the key.
Well, that plus the fact that Andy Pettit just did not get that cut fastball inside far enough to Juan Gonzalez. After calling for the pitch, Joe Girardi kind of nodded his head to Pettit saying, yeah, get it in there. You can see Girardi reaching back out across the middle of the plate. That allows Gonzalez to extend his arms. And when you let this big, strong man extend his arms, bad things happen if you're a pitcher.
So the Rangers have scored in a division series game for the first time since Game 2 against Andy Pettit and the Yankees last year. To Rafael Palmeiro. And now ball a strike.
Let's take one more look at that home run. Watch as Joe Girardi comes back toward the middle of the plate with his glove. He was set up in underneath the hands of Juan Gonzalez. They wanted to run that cut fastball in there. Girardi reached back out across the center of the plate. That's when bad things happen.
1-2 as Palmeiro fouls it out of play. So Gonzalez, who had the monster division series back in 1996, was held down last year, was 0 for 3 in the opener of this series, but a home run with 1 out here in the 4th has given Texas hope. Rangers lead 1-0.
You see Lee Stevens working over that gum ball. I'm telling you, that's the key. It's not extra batting practice.
Hey.
It's not skipping batting practice. It's how you roll up that bubble gum.
No sooner did you say it. Whammo, home run, Gonzalez. Johnny Oates may put you on the payroll. Three and two now on Rafael Palmeiro. Boy, you got it all covered, don't you, big fella? High drive, straightaway center. Lots of room out there for Williams. 2 away.
If it was only that easy, if that's all it took was rolling up a gum ball, everybody would hit. Nobody would ever make it out. Juan Gonzalez, just a great at bat. It seemed like in many ways, even though that pitch straight out over the heart of the plate, that Gonzalez has been looking for that cutter in on his hands the entire evening. He got one that strayed too far out over the plate and lined it out of here to left field.
2 down in the inning, and now it'll be Todd Zeile. He singled his first time up into center field. 0-1. Could that be the spark which ignites this high-octane Texas Rangers offense? It's only 1 run, but you have to start somewhere. And 1 run against the Yankees for Texas has to feel like 10 or 12 runs.
You know, this is an offensive explosion, the way the Rangers have been swinging the bat against the Yankees in the postseason. Saw Juan Gonzalez with a hot water bottle there on the Rangers bench. A very chilly evening here in New York.
Breaking ball missed. 2-1 to Zeile.
This is the kind of evening that usually favors the pitchers, especially for a hitter that makes a quick out or doesn't get to swing the bat during the course of an at-bat. Stand around the outfield, get cold. Much easier to get jammed in on the hands.
Good fastball there from Pettit on the outside corner. 2-2. Three balls, 2 strikes.
Just off of the outside corner that time, Yankee catcher Joe Girardi, working home plate umpire Chuck Merriweather a little bit right there, was asking him where that pitch was.
Payoff pitch to Todd Zeile. Hit hard, but Jeter there, and the inning over, but not before Juan Gonzalez clubs a home run off Andy Pettit to left field. It gives the Rangers a 1-0 advantage. On here tonight, a 1-0 lead.
Typical Rick Helling outing. No ground ball out so far through the first 9 batters of this game. And Helling freezes over his season profile. His last 5 starts, he's not been particularly effective. He's given up 1 home run every 5 1/3 innings pitched during the course of this season. So far tonight, he's been able to keep those fly balls in the ballpark. The hardest hit ball by Joe Girardi to end the 3rd inning, a drive to the 399 mark in left center.
Top of the order for the Yankees. Knobloch to begin things. And he looks at a fastball, strike 1. Knobloch flied out to short right field. And look at the way the Yankees or the Rangers, pardon me, in the outfield play him defensively.
Roberto Kelly shaded way over into the gap in right center field. Rusty Greer looks like the Maytag repairman out there in left field all by himself. A lot of ground to cover in left center and down the line in left field.
Is Maytag a sponsor of Fox Sports?
I certainly hope so.
Well, they are now.
Rusty looks very lonely in left field. Let's just put it that way. And Juan Gonzalez in right has cheated over toward the line a little bit. Moves over a couple more steps that way now with 2 strikes on Knobloch. He figures to be more defensive in this count. Will probably hit the ball the opposite field.
Down on an in and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Knobloch to be followed in the inning by Derek Jeter and then Paul O'Neill. See, Knobloch has struggled in his career against a Ranger right-hander Helling. Two and two. For Chuck Merriweather. 5th strikeout of the game. 4 of the 5 a called 3rd strike. That was not the book on Merriweather coming in.
Not at all. And after working middle of the plate away throughout the entire at bat, Rick Helling comes with a tailing 2-seam fastball on the inside corner, just locks up Chuck Knobloch. And Chuck Merriweather, the home plate umpire, said that's good enough for me.
Very unhappy with a call, and now it'll be Derek Jeter. Jeter struck out looking his first time up, and his folks on hand tonight in from Michigan, Dr. Charles Jeter and Dorothy Jeter.
It feels a little like Michigan here in the Big Apple tonight.
Yeah, we asked Derek about that tonight. He was saying, man, it's cold. That one into right center field, and the Yankees have their first hit. It goes by Gonzalez to the wall. Jeter will stop after a turn at second base.
It's so tough to defend against Derek Jeter. As I mentioned in his first at bat, he's capable of pulling the ball with authority to left field. He's capable of taking a pitch down and away from him and lining it into the gap right center. The Rangers defensively had to play him straight up, leaving that gap in right center. Juan Gonzalez can't come up with it, but Roberto Kelly backs up the play. And how do Mom and Dad think about it? That's my boy.
It's old school for them, man. I mean, it's old hat. They've been watching him do that since he was about 8 years old in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Now the Yankees have a tying run at second. Boy, and this place is juice. Strike 1 to O'Neill. First time tonight Helling has had to pitch out of the stretch.
And many times when you work this deep into the ball game before going to that stretch, it takes a couple of pitches or sometimes a couple of batters to make that adjustment to throwing out of the stretch position.
O'Neill flied out to left his first time up. Good breaking ball there from Helling on the outside corner. He's ahead 0-2.
Boy, Helling has used that curveball very sparingly through the first 3 1/3 innings of this ball game here tonight, relying mostly on fastballs on both sides of the plate. You see that big humpback curveball. Starts up around the belt, ends up down around the knees.
0-2 on O'Neill from catcher Cam, way inside. The Yankees second only to the Cleveland Indians. Heck, everybody's second to the Cleveland Indians when it comes to some offensive statistic. Hitting at .292 on the year with runners in scoring position. One-two to O'Neill. Pulled foul.
Helling trying to double up on inside fastballs right there. He had pushed O'Neill off the plate with a fastball inside. Tried to come right back in there a second time. This time O'Neill was waiting on it. Smacked that ball foul down the right field line. You see O'Neill's numbers against lefties and righties.
The Rangers lead 1-0. Jeter's at second with 1 out in the New York fourth. And the 1-2 to O'Neill. They go away. He fouls it off that way.
Good job of defensive hitting right there by Paul O'Neill, just protecting the plate. After a couple of pitches hard inside, Helling tries to go away. It was too close to take, so O'Neill just flipped the bat out there, fouled it into the seats on the left field side.
Two balls, two strikes. Bernie Williams waits in the on-deck circle. The Yankees had 8 runs on 10 hits in the opener. They've been shut out on 1 hit tonight. Tying run at second with 1 away, and a 2-2 Helling to O'Neill. Checked his swing, they appeal, and he did not go around, says John Shulock. Full count.
That time a breaking ball from Helling that bounced up there just behind home plate, possibly by design. Rodriguez with a nice job of blocking that pitch, keeping it in front. With 2 strikes on O'Neill, tried to get him to chase a bad breaking ball. O'Neill was able to hold up.
Still 3-2 on O'Neill. Crowd sensing that something big about to happen for the Yanks. Standing and cheering on the 3-2 a moment ago. They'll do it again.
O'Neill with another defensive swing, doing a nice job of fouling off some very tough pitchers' pitches. You don't have the luxury with 2 strikes as a hitter to look inside, look outside. You just have to try to see the ball and hit it hard somewhere. O'Neill's been taking very defensive swings on those pitches away. But if he happens to look out across the plate and try to drive the ball to the opposite field, he could do some damage right here. Roberto Kelly in center field has him shaded over into the left center field gap because of the way Helling is pitching to Paul O'Neill.
And another foul ball out of play by O'Neill.
Well, this is about the point. If you have a pitch that you've not shown to a hitter yet in the ball game, now might be the time to break it out. Do have a base open over there at first, even though Bernie Williams is on deck. This will be the 11th pitch of the at-bat for Paul O'Neill.
Jeter at second with 1 away, and again a 3-2. And again O'Neill fouls it off. He had a much better cut that time.
Well, that ball was up and a little more over the heart of the plate. A ball that Paul O'Neill could get the head of the bat to. The other pitches that he fouled off that were outside, he was barely getting the end of the bat on those pitches. That time, a little more of the plate, a little better swing.
On the ground, Clayton will come to third, and Jeter's out at third. Clayton to Zeal. And Jeter took off on contact and is cut down at third base for the second out of the inning.
Boy, a rare base running mistake right there by Derek Jeter. You're taught as a base runner at second base, on a ball hit to your left, you advance to third base. On a ball hit directly at you or to your right, you have to go back to second base. Very close play over there at third base. Clayton took a long time to unload that throw to Zeal. Third base umpire John Shulock, however, rings up Derek Jeter. No reason to try to advance on that ball right there.
Very close play indeed. lead at third. Now Bernie Williams with O'Neill at first and 2 away in the inning.
Well, because of the deliberate way that Clayton fielded that ball, went down to a knee, stands up, turns, and makes the throw. That made it a much closer play than it had to be, and Jeter may have actually gotten a hand on that bag before Zeal applied the tag.
Ball 1 to Bernie Williams, who looked at strike 3 his first time up. Rangers lead here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, 1-0.
Rick Helling with tremendous control of his fastball here through the first 4 innings of this game. He's been able to paint that outside corner almost at will. Saw Paul O'Neill just fouling him off. Couldn't really get the good part of the bat on it. As soon as Helling finds the feel for that overhand curveball, he may be able to shut down this Yankees offense the way he's spotting his fastball tonight.
Tried the fastball again on the outside corner and missed to Williams, who last year became the first player in Major League history to win a batting title, a Gold Glove, and a World Series title in the same season. And a strike. Helling a check on the runner O'Neill at first. Swing and a miss. Count even at 2-2 to Williams.
You know, Bernie Williams has already had a better postseason this year than he did last year against the Texas Rangers. 0 for 11 in the series last year. 3 hits in game 1 with 6 RBIs. Off to a great start this year.
There was a lot of debate as to whether or not Bernie Williams would re-up with the Yankees. He called George Steinbrenner on the phone in Tampa and told him, "I want to be a Yankee. Stay a Yankee." Runner going. Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. Williams gone on strikes. And Helling pitches out of a double by Jeter. Rangers still lead 1-0. She won't want to miss that. Here we go in the Texas 5th inning. Rangers a 1-0 lead over Andy Pettitte and the Yankees on a solo 4th inning home run by Juan Gonzalez. Base hit into center field by Roberto Kelly.
Kelly, one of the guys on the Texas Rangers that is capable of stealing a base. He was 6 for 7 on the season. Of course, once again, Andy Pettitte on the mound with that tremendous pickoff move. Very tough to work for a good jump over there at first base. And with the left-handed hitter Lee Stevens coming to the plate, more than likely Johnny Oates would like to give him that hole on the right side. At least a couple of pitches, an opportunity to try to hook the ball through that right side.
See the numbers for Stevens here at Yankee Stadium. In many ways, they resemble the Rangers offensively in the postseason at Yankee Stadium. Kelly, of course, came up as a Yankee, broke into the major leagues in 1987. And one of the critical decisions the Yankees organization ever made was who was going to be their center fielder of the future. They had a group that included Roberto Kelly, Gerald Williams, and Bernie Williams. And with no disrespect to Gerald Williams or Roberto Kelly, they made the right call. Boy, those are things, Bobby, about a franchise that are often overlooked. But they're the difference between having a guy out there who's a franchise player as opposed to having to look for a center fielder for a number of years.
Ruben Rivera could even be thrown into that mix. Rivera now playing for San Diego, a perennial prospect, a 5-tool guy that still has not reached his potential. Kelly has had a nice career, but certainly not on the caliber of Bernie Williams, at least to this point.
Those were the days when Gene Michael was the general manager and Buck Showalter the skipper. 0-2 to Stevens. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, it's so important for a center fielder here at Yankee Stadium to be able to cover ground. 399 in the gap in left center, 385 in the gap in right center, 408 to straight away. A lot of room to cover out there, especially with the revolving door that has been left field here at Yankee Stadium. Ricky Leday getting the nod tonight in left field. Very highly thought of young player here for the Yankees. Could turn out to be the next great outfielder for this Yankees ball club.
1-2 to Stevens. He hits it at Leday into deep left field. The ball still carries, and it goes into the stands on 1 bounce. That's a bad break there for the Rangers. They will make Roberto Kelly stop at third base on the ground rule double.
Boy, and Leday with a terrible jump on that ball. Lee Stevens going to the opposite field, hit that ball very hard. Leday did not move immediately. Either he didn't pick this ball up quickly enough, or he was just fooled by how hard it was hit. He started to glide on the ball, then it just continues to accelerate, hits off the warning track, and bounce up into those left field stands. But a terrible jump on that ball in left field by Ricky Leday.
Well, he took a lot of heat early in the season for misplaying balls. He was eventually sent back to the minor leagues before being called back up in June. So now the Rangers runners at second and third and nobody out. Right side of the infield drawn in. Jeter conceding to run it short as McLemore looks at ball 1.
Well, McLemore is more likely to hit the ball hard to the left side of the field than he is to the right side of the field. So the Yankees draw the right side in, anticipating a weakly hit ball that way, while Jeter plays back on the left side, as does Brocious at third base.
That one outside, and now Pettit has fallen behind McLemore at 2-0 as Ramiro Mendoza begins to get loose. First activity we've seen in the New York bullpen tonight. Is ball 3, high and outside. There you get a look at Mendoza warming up in a hurry. This is a huge part of the ball game right now for the Texas Rangers. They got the solo home run from Gonzalez in the 4th. And now 2 on with nobody out. There's a strike to McLemore.
Big pitch coming up right here from Andy Pettit. Obviously very much a hitter's count for Mark McLemore. Pettit's been trying to keep the ball away from him throughout this at bat.
In the air down the right field line, it bends foul and out of play. So Pettit has battled back after falling behind 3-0. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And that wasn't a real good aggressive swing by Mark McLemore. With a 3-1 count, you'd like to see that hitter really let it go. Johnny Oates was talking about that before the ball game today. Some of the swings that the Rangers hitters have been taking are not the same aggressive swings they took throughout the year.
3-2. Struck him out. Strikeout of the game by Pettit, but none bigger than that one right there.
Now, we mentioned McLemore, a much better left-handed hitter. Pettit throws that breaking ball just off of the outside corner. McLemore anxious to try to drive home those runs and chases a pitch out of the strike zone for strike 3. Royce Clayton apparently having some trouble getting the donut off his bat as we see McLemore go down one more time, and some commentary from a Yankee fan right there.
It's not arable commentary.
I mean, Clayton's been over there hammering on that thing. Since strike 3 to McLemore. There were many times in my career I felt like I was hitting with a donut on the bat, but you don't want to do that if you can help it.
So what are you saying? You struggled every now and again?
Every now and then that bat got real heavy.
Well, now the Yankees will move the middle infielders back, conceding the run. Brocious even with a bag at third. Likewise for Tino Martinez at first base. Kelly at third, Stevens at second, one out, and Clayton settles in. Ball one away. Clayton is fly to center and grounded out to Knobloch. Kelly started the inning with a single to center. Ground rule double into left by Stevens. The Rangers trying to add to a 1-0 advantage here in the top of the 5th inning.
And Pettit pitching very carefully here. Now he's going to call his catcher Joe Girardi out to have a word halfway between the mound and home plate. The left-handed hitting Rusty Greer on deck. It figures that Clayton is going to be pitched to very carefully right here. Clayton, a guy that will expand the strike zone. He will chase bad pitches, especially in RBI situations. Pettit's been nibbling around on the outside edge. He may continue to nibble around the outside edge of the strike zone with Clayton at the plate. A walk sets up a potential inning-ending double play.
2-0 pitch, and there's a strike. Trying to score runs has been like trying to balance a marble on top of a beach ball. They so badly need to push across at least one here. And they're not going to do it on this one. Hopper at Brocious, 2 away and the inning. Wow.
For the Yankees conceding the run, playing the middle infielders back. Much easier said than done, but that's a situation where if a hitter just guides the ball back through the middle of the field, play pepper with that second baseman and shortstop. As I mentioned, it's not that easy just to go up there and hit a ground ball whenever you want, but Clayton gets out in front of this pitch, grounds it on a hop down to Brocious at third, hit that same ball to the middle infielders, and the Rangers have another run.
Speaking of a beach ball, one has just come out onto the field and left. They must have overheard us.
Well, they were trying to balance a marble on it, and he dropped it onto the field.
Make sure we pay that guy off a little bit later on. Runners at second and third, 2 out in the inning. And Rusty Greer, the batter. Pitch in the dirt, blocked beautifully there by Joe Girardi. Ball 1.
Now this is the same thing as driving in a run offensively for a catcher. He just saved the Yankees a run right here by blocking this pitch in the dirt. Actually catches it on a hop. Holds that runner at third base. Saving a run is the same thing as driving in a run.
Jorge Posada, the game 1 starter. Rooting on his buddy Joe Girardi here tonight. 1-0 to Greer. On the ground, foul. It's a ball, a strike. Kelly leads at third. Stevens, a runner at second. 2 away, and Pettit the 1-1 is outside to Greer. Well, we've talked about the Rangers. Just a terrific offensive ball club during the regular season. Greer, one of 4 Rangers to knock in 100 or more runs. First time that's happened in franchise history. 2-1 pitch. Fouled out of play, so now it's gone to 2-2. And this Yankee crowd, after runners were at second and third with nobody out, will now stand anticipating the final out of the inning with no runs for Texas.
Came with a fastball on the inside corner there, caught Greer by surprise. Unfortunately for Pettit and fortunately for Rusty Greer, just off the inside corner. That pitch surprised him right there.
Runners at second and third, 2 down, 3-2 to Greer. Inning over. From the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, Goodyear currently maintains a 7-blimp fleet, 3 domestic, 4 internationally. Great to have them with us tonight. And how about that inning by Andy Pettit?
Pivotal point in the ball game, and Pettit really showing some emotion out there on the mound after strike 3 to Rusty Greer. Pumps his fist. The fans are into it. He's back to the bench. High fives all around. Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, waiting with the jacket. Pettit is still fired up.
See if the Yankees take that momentum into the bottom half of the 5th inning. It's still a 1-0 Texas lead. Tino Martinez, Chili Davis, Ricky Leday due up against Rick Helling, who has been oh so tough through the first 4 tonight. He's only allowed 1 hit, fanned 6, walked none. Full Tino with that pitch, 1-2.
Tino Martinez had his best numbers against the Rangers of any team in the American League this year. 6 home runs against this Rangers pitching staff.
Two balls, 2 strikes, and it's lined into right field. A base hit by Martinez to open a Yankee 5th. Huge round of applause before the ball game ever got started tonight. Number 23, former captain of the Yankees, a native of Evansville, Indiana, Don Mattingly.
They called him Donnie Baseball here in New York. You know, much was made about Tino Martinez coming in to replace Don Mattingly at first base for the Yankees. Could he fill those shoes? Well, he's done a pretty good job. If you look at Don Mattingly's 13 years here with the Yankees, he averaged 137 games a year, a .307 average, 17 homers, 84 RBIs. Tino Martinez in 4 years with the Yankees has averaged 154 games a season, a .283 average, 31 homers and 122 RBIs.
But of course, Mattingly, a humble man of grace, dignity, carried on the legacy of the great pinstripe tradition. Boy, always in pursuit of excellence. 1-0 to Chili Davis, leadoff man aboard. And Davis fouls it out of play, 1 ball and 1 strike.
There you see Don Mattingly on the left of your screen. Oh, what a professional. Everybody would like to have had him as a teammate. Those are the kind of guys you like to play next to.
Who's that guy in front of him there? You ever seen him before?
He's a guy that wishes he played first base for the Yankees.
Well, Billy Crystal, I think, has done all right for himself. Boy, he loves baseball.
Yeah, but how many hits does he have in the big leagues? Not as many as the guy sitting behind him, I'll tell you that.
Fouled out of play, 1-2 to Davis.
And that last foul ball went up in that direction. You see both guys eyeballing it, and Mattingly ragging on somebody down there that made a bad play. And then Crystal jumps in. Tough crowd up there, man.
Well, hey, New York, baby. We're in the Bronx.
You're only as good as your last play.
Rangers in front, 1-0. Last to the 5th. Martinez at first, nobody out. 1-2 to Chili Davis. Helling's been getting that call a lot tonight, but not right there. Helling is fan 6. 4 of those hitters called out on strikes.
Now, through the early going, I think Helling has caught a lot of the Yankees hitters looking for that big curveball.
And he's throwing fastballs. His 7th strikeout of the game, his 5th call. Chili may have a pretty good gripe. The pitch before looked closer than that one right there.
Now, the pitch before was down a little bit more. This one up. But both pitches appeared to be in just about the same location off of that outside corner. Pudge Rodriguez does a nice job of catching around that ball. Puts his glove outside where the ball's going to end up and then pushes it back toward the plate as he catches it.
Now Ricky Leday. Leday struck out swinging in the 3rd. His only at bat, and it's strike 1.
Well, that will mess you up offensively as a team. You go into a game with a game plan against the pitcher. And the game plan against Helling was to try to lay off the high fastballs and lay off the curveballs in the dirt. Well, Helling has used very few curveballs in this game, and he's been spotting his fastball down low on both sides of the plate.
Boy, he just keeps coming with that fastball, Bobby.
It really is amazing to see how many times he's gone to that heater in this ball game. I mean, he's known for that overhand curve. That's his signature pitch. But it's also a pitch that he said himself, some nights he doesn't have a good feel for it. Very chilly here tonight at Yankee Stadium. Maybe his hands are a little cold, just not able to get a good grip on the curveball.
1-1. And a check swing and a miss. Another terrific block on a pitch in the dirt. And when it's a 1-0 ball game, these are huge plays by Rodriguez.
And this ball isn't a short hop. This hits out in front of home plate. That ball hit about 6-8 inches out in front of home plate. And with that breaking ball, you're never sure exactly where it's going to go. The batters have chewed up the area around home plate as they come out of the batter's box running down the first baseline. And when the ball hits that far out in front of home plate, you're never sure where it's going to go. Great block by Pudge Rodriguez.
You're not surprised?
No.
1-2 now to Leday. Did he go? No. They don't even appeal. 2-2. Leday jumped all over that pitch from Helling and nearly made it a 1-run Yankee lead.
Well, you'll always get a big reaction at Yankee Stadium on a ball hit directly down either line. We mentioned earlier, 318 down the left field line, 314 down the right field line. Leday gets well out in front of this pitch, hooks it down that right field line. Home run distance, but just foul.
2-2 on Leday. Goes the outside corner and again is right on the black. 8th strikeout of the night by Helling.
Well, you cannot paint corners any better than Rick Helling has done in this ball game. Once again, you see Pudge Rodriguez sets up on the outside corner. He'll reach back towards the plate to catch the ball right on the outside corner. I truly think the Yankees hitters are caught looking for that big curveball. And Helling just has not used it as much in this game as they're used to seeing from him.
Brocious, who flied to center his first time up. And another block on a pitch in the dirt. 1-0 on Brocious.
Well, he's bounced his last 3 curveballs as we get a look at the 2 starting pitchers in the ball game tonight. Both very effective. Pitch counts nearly even. Helling with a little better command of his fastball in this ball game. Pettit made the one mistake, a cutter that just didn't get inside far enough on Juan Gonzalez.
1-0 to Brocious. And that one missed outside and low. 2 balls and no strikes. Brocious, the MVP of the World Series last season in the 4-game sweep over San Diego. Of course, he lost his father to cancer just a little over a month ago. And he is the first to admit that since losing his father, Maury Brocious, he at times has had his thoughts elsewhere, and I think every one of us can certainly understand that.
Unflappable Joe Torre, same expression on his face, whether the Yankees are leading by a bunch or losing by a bunch, and his team reflects that attitude.
I mean, both of these managers, as it goes to 3-1, you can't help but just think the world of them. They're just such good guys. Put the whole baseball part of it aside. I mean, these are the kind of guys that you'd like to have as your father-in-law.
Wouldn't mind sitting down, having a beer, and talking about whatever happens to come up.
No doubt about it. 3-1 to Brocious. Fouls it back out of play. They're both very different men from different parts of the country. Johnny Oates, a native Virginian. Southern accent. Quiet gentleman, very quiet in many ways, Joe Torre, but of course he's a native from right here, New York. 3-2 to Brocious. Runner goes, and it's drilled into deep left field. Racing back Greer, and he has not made the play. It's off the wall. Rounding third, scoring Martinez on a double by Brocious. It's a 1-1 game. It looked for a moment as though Greer had made the spectacular play.
It looked like he was in position to make the play as he jumped up against that left field wall, but just did not come down with the ball. Tino Martinez on the move at first base. Martinez not the fastest runner on this Yankees team as Helling makes a mistake here. Fastball over the heart of the plate. Well, you see Greer took his eye off the ball at the end right there. As he makes his jump, he takes his eye off the ball, protecting himself against the fence, and just did not come close to catching that ball.
We're tied at 1 in the Bronx, and now Joe Girardi with a lead run at second. Looks at ball 1 down and in.
Well, the Yankees looking for something to ignite them in this ball game. That'll get them up off their seats in that first base dugout.
Girardi, who flied out to Greer his first time up, and he takes high. 2 balls and no strikes.
Joe Girardi with not outstanding offensive numbers, but he's not in the lineup for his bat. He will get an occasional big hit. Very good base runner, but he's in there for his pitch calling and his handling of this Yankees pitching staff. Andy Pettit in particular tonight.
3-0. And now Rodriguez wants timeout. Boy, how about the set of circumstances here in this 5th inning? Top of the 5th, the Rangers had runners at second and third. Nobody out. They failed to score. A leadoff single by Martinez in the bottom of the inning, and 2 outs later, a run-scoring double by Brocious to tie it up. And there's a strike.
Well, Girardi may be taking again here. Got to set up the inning for the top of the order. Chuck Knobloch, perhaps with a couple runners on base and 2 outs. Girardi, a very patient hitter at times.
Popped up left side of the infield. Clayton the call, and Clayton the catch. But the Yankees tie the game. We go to the 6th, a 1-1 affair.
Pitchers in left field here at Yankee Stadium in this series. A humpback liner in game 1 that he lost in the lights on the roof here at Yankee Stadium that dropped and rolled to the wall, and now problems tracking down that drive off the bat of Scott Brocious.
3, 4, and 5 in the Ranger batting order against Andy Pettitte here in the 6th. Strike 1 on Pudge Rodriguez.
There's the play I was talking about in game 1. Ricky Leday with a line drive that never got up high enough to get above the lights. And then you see the end of the play right there. That was the first run of the game. Rusty takes his eye off this ball. I think he was trying to protect himself. We mentioned a sore right shoulder. He missed the final 2 games of the regular season after being hit by a pitch in that right shoulder. And it looked like he took his eye off the ball to protect himself as he crashed into that left field wall.
1 ball and 1 strike on Pudge Rodriguez. He had 2 hits in the series opener, the only 2 hits the Rangers had all night. And he drives this one into left center field, a base hit. What a play by Bernie Williams to cut it off. A big turn at first by Rodriguez, and he'll retreat. That is a 2nd ball into left center field we've seen take a huge hop, almost like skidding off the natural grass.
We talked about Bernie Williams and his ability to cover ground in the outfield. Makes the backhanded play, slides into a pop-up, and gets that ball back in quickly because Pudge Rodriguez had thoughts about double on that ball. If Bernie stays on his feet, there's a good chance his feet are going to slip out from under him as he stops anyway. So he wisely goes into a slide, makes the play, plants that right foot, and comes up out of the slide with a strong throw back into the infield.
Now Juan Gonzalez, he's lined to center and homered. Let's go back to the 4th inning. When Gonzalez got Texas on the board.
Pettitte trying to come inside with a cut fastball, left it out over the plate, and just a screaming line drive out of the reach of Ricky Leday and into the left field bleachers.
Keep an eye on Ivan Rodriguez. 25 stolen bases on the season. Very short lead over there at first. Pettitte will throw over anyway. It's game 2, the American League Division Series. Yankees up 1-0. And here we are in the top of the 6th inning. The Rangers have the leadoff man aboard. 1-1 affair with Gonzalez at the plate. This should be 2. Knobloch, Jeter, and that's a double play.
Taylor made double play ball off the bat of Juan Gonzalez. Hard hit to the right side. Chuck Knobloch very deliberate. You see him waiting back on that ball. That's been one of his problems defensively at second base. The relay throw on to first in time to get Gonzalez. See Jeter coming wide of the bag to clear himself of that sliding runner and throwing on to first to complete the double play.
2 down, bases wiped clean, and now it's Palmeiro who has singled and flied to center.
Hey, you saw Knobloch really wait back on that double play ground ball. Of course, Knobloch came over from Minnesota where they played on the AstroTurf. Much more common on AstroTurf to play back and let the ball come to you. It gets there so much more quickly. On the natural grass here at Yankee Stadium, some of the higher grass fields in the American League, that ball doesn't get there as quickly. Knobloch continued to wait back and many times got himself bad hops because of it. You watch how Knobloch just lays back on this ball. Got himself into a defensive position as that ball was about halfway to him.
Strike one on Palmeiro. Left-hander getting loose in the Ranger bullpen. They had the right-hander Tim Crabtree warming up. He has since taken a seat. And the former Mariner Jeff Facero beginning to get loose. 1 ball and 1 strike on Palmeiro. Elling has only allowed 3 base hits through the first 5. To Palmeiro on the outside corner, strike 2. Boy, Andy Pettitte in the big game is so tough. He was on the ropes with Mendoza getting loose an inning ago. Two and 2 on Palmeiro. Three balls and 2 strikes.
What a great eye at the plate by Rafael Palmeiro, laying off some very tough pitches. And very much a fluid strike zone tonight behind the plate by Chuck Merriweather. A lot of identical pitches have been called in opposite directions. Very tough for the pitchers, very tough for the hitters. 7th full count in the ball game for Andy Pettitte.
Little flare in the shallow center, and Palmeiro has a 2-out single, his 2nd hit in 3 at-bats. What a hitter that guy is.
And what a season he's put on the boards this year. 47 home runs, 148 RBIs, had a 20 game-winning RBI, which is a franchise record for the Rangers, and did it all coming off double knee surgery in spring training. Has had an outstanding offensive year.
Of course, in the 90s, Palmeiro had more hits than any player in the major leagues, the lone exception, Mark Grace. Grace had 4 more hits during this decade than Palmeiro, but Palmeiro hit 211 more home runs than Grace and knocked in 283 more runs. One final footnote. Palmeiro played more games in this decade than Cal Ripken Jr. To Todd Zeile. Zeile is singled and grounded to short.
And even with a short lead and not much chance that Rafael Palmeiro is going to attempt a stolen base, Andy Pettitte throws a pickoff throw over there anyway. That's how deceptive his move is. You can pick guys off. He can pick guys off that have no intention of stealing a base.
Fastball missed outside, 2-0 to Zeile. Rangers and the Yankees are tied at 1 here in the top of the 6th inning. And a 2-0. Broken bat, roller, and Knobloch down on one knee. He'll go the short way. Inning over. 2 hits, no runs. We're tied at 1.
Game tonight, no surprises there. Rick Helling, very much a fly ball pitcher. Andy Pettitte has averaged 2 ground balls for every fly ball throughout the regular season. Both men pretty much pitching according to their regular season numbers.
We're at Yankee Stadium. Glad to have you with us here on Fox Sports. Game 2 in this American League Division Series. Helling and Pettitte locked in a 1-1 duel as we open the 6th. And the Yankees have the top of the order. Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill. First pitch swinging, Knobloch, and foul ground. Stevens, it's out of play. Facero continues to throw in the Texas bullpen.
Sarah warm and ready to go down there in that Rangers bullpen, just standing by to see how this inning goes for Rick Helling.
Knobloch is fly to right, struck out. 0 for 2 in the game. 2 hits and 6 at-bats in the series.
Knobloch, a very patient hitter. We mentioned the entire Yankees lineup. Very patient hitters, work deep in the count. But this time up, Knobloch was looking for a first pitch fastball and hoping to pump one out of here. Takes a big cut there again. And sometimes hitters can do that. You develop a reputation around the league. This guy's very patient. He won't swing at a first pitch. But every now and then you go up there to the plate, make up your mind. If you get a good fastball to hit, you're going to let it fly. And that's what Knobloch did this at bat. Now he's going to have to battle in the hole 1 and 2.
Down and in to Knobloch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Helling has not walked a batter tonight. He struck out 8. His season high in strikeouts this season, 10. On the ground, and that is a foul ball. So now the 3rd time through the batting order for Rick Helling. You mentioned it all night tonight, Bobby. It appears as though a lot of those Yankees expect a breaking ball. They haven't gotten it all night by and large from Helling.
That last pitch pulled foul by Knobloch was a big curveball that hung up over the inside part of the plate, but just enough off speed that Knobloch couldn't keep it fair down that third baseline.
Fastball high, and it's 3-2. Pitch to Chuck Knobloch. It's fouled out of play.
Yeah, the net came in handy tonight. I probably brought that to every ball game this year and never had a chance to use it until tonight.
Santa's arrived early in the Bronx.
It feels like it could snow any moment here in New York. Very chilly evening.
3-2. Popped up behind the plate. Will there be enough room for Rodriguez? Yes, as he tumbles into the first row, Rodriguez hangs on. What a play by the 7-time Gold Glove winner.
But Pudge Rodriguez tracking that ball all the way back to the backstop, takes one last peek to see where that railing is. To make a slight adjustment at the very end, he dives, makes the catch, and tumbles over the railing into the good seats down there. Well, we talk a lot about infielders and outfielders and the kind of range that they possess. How much ground can they cover? Well, Pudge Rodriguez has a lot of range behind the plate.
There aren't many guys you can say that about.
Not a whole lot of them, I'll tell you. And Pudge Rodriguez, even in this area right here around the plate, has great range. Very wide stance at the plate, very strong legs. Able to shift very subtly inside and outside depending on where the pitch is. Always gives the umpire a real good look at pitches that are close to the strike zone.
Derek Jeter has struck out. He's doubled the right center field. Is thrown out trying to advance to third on a ground ball off the bat of Paul O'Neill back in the 4th inning. He's ahead in the count 2-0. 1-1 game last of the 6th.
Rick Helling now up to the 100 pitch mark, and during the course of the regular season, that's when opponents' batting average really jumped up against the Texas right-hander. Broken down in 15 pitch intervals from 91 to 105. The average jumped up to 336 for opposing hitters, 305 for the next 15 pitches, 333 for the next 15 after that.
3-0 delivery to Jeter, and he takes a hack 3-0 and grounds it to Clayton. 2 away in the inning. Coming up this week on the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, the guys will take a look at Randy Moss in his big game last week. Was it his breakthrough game, or has the NFL finally figured out how to contain him? Find out on the pregame show, all part of Fox NFL Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Fox. Very prominent NFL guest in attendance tonight, none other than John Madden.
That's where you go to get your football questions answered.
He'll give you an answer on anything you want to know. Are you kidding me?
I wonder where he parked his bus, the Madden Cruiser. Very tough to get close to Yankee Stadium, as we find out every time we do a game here. I got a feeling that they let John park that bus right out on the concourse.
Anywhere he wants. 1-0 to Paul O'Neill. And it's in the air, left field, playable for Greer, and that is that. A perfect 6th inning for Helling. We're still tied at 1. Back after this word from your local Fox station. Roberto Kelly to lead things off here in the Texas 7th inning of a 1-1 affair. Kelly has struck out and singled into center field. Pettit ahead at 0-2. 1 run, 7 hits, no errors, 5 men left on base for the Rangers. So you get a look at Andy Pettit this season. He gets into the 7th inning. That spelled big trouble. Yankees with 1 run, 3 hits, an error, and they've left 2 men on base. 0-2 to Kelly. Misses outside.
You see, Roberto Kelly stands far off the plate, and that usually indicates a guy likes the ball away from him. He likes to extend his arms, so he gets off the plate. And the Yankees early in the count were trying to jam him inside, and then once they got to 2 strikes, Joe Girardi set up on the outside corner. They're going to come back in again.
And it's fouled out of play. It'll stay 1-2. Stevens on deck, and then Mark McLemore.
And you saw Pettit that time miss all the way across the plate. He's up to the 100 pitch mark in this ball game. They were trying to throw that cut fastball in on the hands of Roberto Kelly. Pettit left it up and out over the plate. Something the pitching coaches keep an eye on. Are they still hitting their targets?
Came with a breaking ball that time, and Kelly able to foul it off first base side. Well, the Rangers got the solo home run from Gonzalez for a 1-0 lead in the 4th. In the 5th inning, they had Kelly at 3rd, Stevens at 2nd with nobody out and failed to score. McLemore struck out. Clayton a 1-hopper right at Brocious, and then Greer struck out to end the inning. They continue to struggle to score. Pitch up, did he go? Yes, sir, says Tim Wilkie. And we talked to Johnny Oates about his team problems. Are they pressing?
It's obvious out there that I think not only that we're pressing, it's becoming a mental thing. And in sports, that can hurt. The physical part of this game, you know how to attack the physical part. We're all very competitive. That's what we're trained in, athletics. But when it comes to the mental part of the game, there's not too many of us has a psychology degree. And other than John Wetland, and maybe we need to go to him a little bit more.
John Wetland, one of the flakier guys in Major League Baseball, but psychology degree.
And that one is outside to Lee Stevens.
They have to set up a couch down in that visitors clubhouse here at Yankee Stadium. Let Dr. Wetland take care of their offensive problems.
John Wetland, former World Series MVP with the Yankees. There's a strike, a fastball in the outside corner. Pulled him badly with a breaking ball there, and now 1-2.
Yeah, bad pitch from Pettit, but he pulled the string enough to get Stevens out in front and committed on that breaking ball. And you see a guy miss that badly. Once again, it generally indicates he was guessing something else. Saw the ball, committed to it, and the pitch was not what he was looking for.
1-2 delivery, and it's on the ground, foul.
That time a much better swing at a breaking ball. A little more defensive with 2 strikes, not as apt to jump out there at the first thing he sees.
Lucky little fella right there. He got that foul ball. One ball, 2 strikes pitch on Stevens. And that one rolled foul.
It's popcorn hat night here at Yankee Stadium. A multi-purpose popcorn bucket.
They only do that in the postseason. Popcorn hat night.
That guy came prepared. Has his Fox jacket on. He don't need no stinking jacket. Baseball season.
Again, the 1-2 Pettit on Lee. Stevens on the ground at Knobloch. And he flips on over to Martinez. 2 away. Of course, Knobloch had a lot of problems. Committed 26 errors this season, many of them throwing the ball over to first. He didn't look all that sure on that toss.
15 throwing errors on the season, 8 booted ground balls. He dropped a couple of pop-ups and mishandled a relay throw from the outfield to total 26 errors on the season. And once again, I mentioned earlier, laying back on a lot of ground balls, letting the hops eat him up out there at second base, and then having to rush his throws to first.
McLemore shows bunt and takes outside, ball 1. McLemore, the man at the plate, back in the 5th inning. After Kelly had singled, went to third on a double by Stevens. Count went to 3-2, and Pettit struck him out. The first of 3 huge outs for the Yankee left-hander Andy Pettit. 1-1. El Duque in the opener shut him out, allowed only 2 hits in 8 innings, and Pettit has surrendered just 1 run in now 7 innings here tonight. That one booted by Knobloch, and reaching safely at first base is McLemore.
Knobloch showing good range up the middle. He gets to the ball and backhands it, and then drops it as he gets ready to make his throw to first base. He was kind of shoveling that ball from the glove into his throwing hand rather than reach his throwing hand into the glove. Watch him kind of flip it right there. He opens his glove and flips it into the bare hand. Doesn't make the exchange cleanly. By the time he recovers, it's too late. We talked about Knobloch's defensive struggles this year. He's had problems fielding the ball. He's had a lot of problems throwing the ball. And to compound the problem, Tino Martinez not with the greatest range over there at first base for the Yankees. He's very adept at picking low throws out of the dirt, but not as agile going from side to side on those throws that pull him off the bag.
Activity again in the Yankee bullpen. Earlier it was Mendoza, and now the right-hander Jeff Nelson begins to get loose. That was ruled an error on Knobloch, the play a moment ago, the second Yankee defensive miscue tonight. Tough error, however. Went a long way, as you mentioned, Bobby, just to get to it.
It was a tough error, but once he got to the ball, any clean exchange from the glove hand into the bare hand, they more than likely get McLemore at first base. It was the bobble after the play. The throw that pulled Martinez off the bag was really inconsequential to the play.
Ball 1 to Royce Clayton. Johnny Oates shifting around that batting order prior to the game tonight. Clayton the entire season had batted in the leadoff spot just twice. Was 1 for 10 in that slot, and he's 0 for 3 here tonight. Strike called on the outside corner, 1-1.
Clayton hit 14 home runs on the season, and for a guy like Royce Clayton, that's not always a good thing. He's a much more effective hitter when he just tries to line the ball from foul line to foul line. When he tries to hit home runs, he develops bad habits at the plate. Swing gets very long, can't get to a good fastball. Really the only pitch he handles well is a breaking ball or a changeup that stays over the middle of the plate. When he keeps his short quick and compact and just tries to make solid contact, a much more effective hitter.
You were a coach for the Giants when Clayton first arrived in the major leagues.
Tremendously talented, physically gifted player. Still learning the shortstop position. Once again, Pettit with a pickoff throw to first base. McLemore was only about a step and a half off the bag. But you'd be surprised how many times lefties with a good move like Pettit will pick a guy off who's only 3 or 4 feet off the bag.
Run at first base for the Rangers, 2 away here in the 7th inning of a 1-1 ball game. And again, Pettit will throw over.
See McLemore's career stolen base numbers. 16 stolen bases in 24 attempts in the 1999 season.
2-1 to Clayton, and it's outside and high. 3 balls and a strike. Greer waits in the on-deck circle. Clayton trying to get aboard somehow, some way, and get that lead run in a scoring position here in the Texas 7th inning. Three and 2 as he fouls it off. Pettit has gone 6 2/3 innings, allowed just 1 run. That ball in the air to right center field. O'Neill drifting back, and he's got it. We go to the bottom of the 7th, tied at 1. In the bottom half of the 7th inning, Bobby, you brought it up earlier. It's gotten very, very chilly as this night has gone on.
Now, we've noticed Andy Pettit, Rick Helling both blowing on their hands repeatedly out there on the mound, trying to keep their fingertips warm so they can get a better grip on the ball. We've seen the hitters using hot water bottles down the dugouts. I believe it's down in the 40s right now and dropping as we speak.
Well, Helling again trying to make sure that he gets a good feel for the baseball. We talked about once he reached the 100 pitch mark, and you saw innings 7, 8, and 9 in his league high 35 starts this year. When he's gotten that far, more times than not, he's gotten in trouble. And it's a heart of the order for the Yanks. Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and then the DH, Chili Davis. Bernie Williams has struck out twice, once looking, and then back in the 4th inning, Helling got him swinging, leaving 1 on. And Williams still not happy with a strike zone tonight from Chuck Merriweather.
Good look at the hit zone for Bernie Williams. Bernie Williams was a guy I thought was going to have success against Helling because he's a good high ball hitter. He likes that ball up and out over the plate. Helling, we mentioned at the top of the show, liked to throw high four-seam fastballs and that big curve. He's gone away from his general game plan tonight. Keeping that fastball down on the corners, in and out, just showing enough curveballs to keep the Yankees hitters off balance, but basically attacking them with the fastball.
The Yankees led the American League with 98 wins, 16 fewer than they had in just a remarkable year a season ago when they just marched through the American League and then right through the Padres in the World Series. Breaking ball that just missed that outside corner, try to come in through the back door.
Started that curveball just off of the outside corner, tried to drop it on the outside edge. Bernie Williams kind of took a look at it, but Chuck Merriweather did not give Helling the call that time.
Get a look at catcher Cam, warned tonight by Ivan Rodriguez. 2-2 pitch. Tried the fastball away, and now the count is full on Williams. Helling has not walked a batter tonight. Fly ball into right center field. Juan Gonzalez with room.
Well, Rick Helling does a nice job working Bernie Williams right there. Let's get a look at the pitch by pitch. Just a zoom ball that got away from him right there. Fastball in the outside corner. Bernie didn't like it. Fastball down the middle he swings through. That's the pitch that Helling wanted. Runs the count to full. Bernie got a real good pitch to hit right there. Fastball up over the inside part of the plate and just missed it.
Long fly ball by Williams. The first out in the seventh, and now Tino Martinez. He's fly to left, singled, and scored the only Yankee run. Strike one. Well, you got to tip your cap to both starting pitchers here tonight. Helling has surrendered a total of 3 hits in the game.
Man, as you mentioned, Tommy has not walked a batter. That is a big part of the Yankees' offense. They drew 718 walks on the season.
1-1 to Tino Martinez is outside. 2 balls and a strike. We mentioned earlier that Tino Martinez has just eaten up Ranger pitching. The 6 home runs this year with 17 runs batted in. Now the 2-1. Tried the fastball outside, missed outside and high. Big pitch coming up for Helling.
Tino Martinez is so quick on the inside part of the plate. He can pull anybody's fastball. We talked about that short porch in right field here at Yankee Stadium. I would certainly think Helling is going to go away right here.
He does, and that's his first walk of the night.
Rodriguez out to have a word with his right-hander. Chili Davis has struck out looking twice in this ball game here tonight. But Chili Davis is a veteran hitter. He remembers how Rick Helling got to those strike 3 pitches in his first 2 at-bats. So perhaps Pudge Rodriguez out there talking to Helling, reminding him how they got Chili out the first 2 times and maybe changing the attack this time. Also, he could have just been stalling for time to give that Rangers bullpen a little time to crank it up down there.
Just now beginning to get loose, the right-hander Tim Crabtree, who's had such a solid year for what has been a very solid Ranger bullpen. One on, one out the New York 7th of a 1-1 game. And Davis is down a strike. Those strikeouts on Chili Davis tonight have been strike 3 called. Helling has fanned 8 Yankee batters. His first walk of the game just a moment ago to Martinez as Crabtree's getting loose in a hurry. One and one. Chili Davis had such a great start to this season. First 2.5 months of the year. He had a hard time getting him out. He has struggled since the All-Star break. He gets a start at DH tonight in favor of Darryl Strawberry, who started game 1.
Chili Davis has had a remarkable career, as I mentioned earlier. Hit his 350th home run earlier this season, 4th among all switch hitters, 3-time All-Star, World Series rings with the Twins back in 1991 and with the Yankees last year.
Many have speculated this could be Davis's final season. Yankees have an option on his contract looking ahead to the year 2000. 2-1. Popped up down the left field line, and it will drift in amongst the fan. We talked to the Yankee general manager Brian Cashman at length before the game today, and he said they have a lot of tough decisions to make looking ahead to next year, including David Cone.
A particularly tough decision, since this Yankees unit as they're put together right now have been so effective. I mean, obviously they're going to want to retool at some positions, but you don't want to mess around too much with the team chemistry that the Yankees have developed here under Joe Torre.
2-2 pitch, and again fouled off third base side. Helling continues to challenge Davis with the fastballs away.
I started to say earlier in the ball game that going back as far as 1985, they said that Chili Davis could not catch up with a good fastball. Well, he mashed a lot of good fastballs between 1985 and tonight. Helling getting ready to throw his 120th pitch of this ball game.
Chili at the plate on a chilly night in the Bronx. 1-1 game, last of the 7th. 1 on, 1 out. That one a little too low. Crabtree is ready in the Texas bullpen. That is a cheesehead wind up in the Bronx.
A dangerous pitch here when Chili Davis gets in a count where he can anticipate a fastball. He cheats a little bit, starts that bat a little bit sooner.
Runner goes, and a bouncing ball into right field, a base hit. And Martinez will advance on to third. So Chili Davis on a 3-2 pitch hooks it through the right side, and the Yankees in business.
What a surprise to see Martinez on the move right there. Chili Davis has struck out 100 times in the season in 460 at-bats. Gets the 3-2 fastball, grounds it through that right side. You can see Stevens with no range. He was holding the runner on. And Martinez is able to advance easily to third base on that base hit into right field.
Wade Bellinger is now going to come on and run for Chili Davis. Dick Bosman comes out to visit the mound and have a chat with his pitcher Rick Helling, who has just been terrific here tonight. But now the Yankees have runners on the corners and only 1 out.
Bellinger, a slight improvement in speed over there at first base. Chili Davis does not run well at this stage of his career. Bellinger, much more athletic base runner. Wouldn't be surprised to see him on the move very early in this next sequence. The Yankees definitely want to stay out of the double play. Try to get Martinez home from third base.
This is the precise reason why Bellinger was put on the postseason roster by Joe Torre. Come in to pinch run. He can play a little bit of everywhere. Spent over 10 years in the minor leagues, and he's on the postseason roster in favor of Shane Spencer, the postseason hero of a year ago. Yankees with a chance to take their first lead of the game. Ricky Leday, the batter, runners at first and third with one out, and Helling delivers. Fouled out of play for strike one.
As we showed you earlier in the ballgame, Rick Helling very much a fly ball pitcher. Many times that will influence a manager's decision whether or not to start the runner to stay out of the double play. If the pitcher just doesn't throw ground balls, you don't really have to be too concerned with the ground ball double play.
In the air, right center field, on the run as Kelly won't get it, base hit. Scoring from third, Martinez. Bellinger on to third. Yankees lead 2-1.
Base hit by Ricky Leday, splits the outfielders in right center. Fastball down and on the outside corner. He reaches back and hooks it into the gap in right center. Very poor jump by both Roberto Kelly in center and Juan Gonzalez in right field.
The Yankees have a lead, and that's it for Helling. 2-1 in the seventh.
Kind enough to wear a mic tonight. Let's hear what he had to say.
This is super, baby. Listen, Pudge, if he goes right here, all right, you're looking back, all right? Make sure you got him stop the third and you go ahead and throw through, all right? Okay? Hard ground ball back to you, all right? You go for two, all right? If it's a chopper or whatever, then you got to make sure you see what he's doing over there, okay? All you got to do is be down. This guy's a very active hitter. He don't want to walk, so you can let him do what he wants to do.
Big Posman said all you got to do is be down. He's a very anxious hitter. Leday goes after a pitch that's down and outside, but manages to pull it in the air back to the gap in right center field. He's fired up out there at second base. And there's the #1 cheerleader on that Yankee bench, Popeye. Boy, outstanding game tonight by Rick Helling. His downfall here in the ball game all started with the walk to Tino Martinez, his only walk in the ball game.
Runners at second and third. The batter Scott Brocious, who knocked in a tying run with an RBI double in the fifth inning. 2-1 Yankee lead. Infield drawn in, and Rodriguez has saved a run for the time being anyway.
Well, with the Rangers with their infield drawn way into the cut of the grass, Ricky Leday, the runner at second base, can really get a big jump off of second base and should be able to score easily on any base hit. See the numbers on Crabtree on the season. Very good control pitcher.
1-0 the count on Brocious. And Crabtree delivers. It's in there a strike. Crabtree, Venafro, Munoz until he dropped a computer monitor on his toe. Broke a toe and has made him unavailable for the postseason. Of course, Wetland cleans it up. 1-1 delivery. Here comes a squeeze, and he didn't quite come down the line far enough, so they couldn't get him at third. Safety squeeze.
That's a favorite play of Don Zimmer's in his days as a manager with the Red Sox and the Cubs. That batter squares around. It's not a suicide squeeze. He does not have to bunt this ball. If it's a good pitch and you can bunt it, you put the bunt down. The runner at third has to read the play. That time Bellinger started down the line, saw Brocious take the pitch, and then had to hustle back into the bag at third.
Runners at second and third, one out, infield in, and Crabtree delivers. Looked like a cross up there between Crabtree and Ivan Rodriguez.
As I mentioned earlier, Pudge is usually a catcher that can really help a pitcher by framing those pitches around the edge of the strike zone. That time he got handcuffed. As Crabtree is throwing considerably harder than Rick Helling did. You see Brocious numbers against Crabtree, 4 for 9.
3-1 pitch. On the ground, Seals got it. Everybody stays put, and that's a second out of the inning. A big out right there for Crabtree and the Rangers with one more to go. Rick Helling in last season's Game 2 of the division series allowed only 3 runs, but his team only scored once. Tonight he leaves having given up just 2 runs on 5 hits, but again, his team has managed 1 run.
Joe Girardi stepping up to the plate, and every time he has stepped into the batter's box, Johnny Oates has come up on the top step of the dugout to remind Pudge Rodriguez to watch the first pitch. Girardi flied out to the 399 mark in left center on a first pitch earlier in the game.
On the ground, slowly hit. Clayton charges, gloves, throws, inning over. Crabtree, a terrific job out of the bullpen, but the Yankees have taken the lead. 2-1 as we move to the 8th. Air Fox crew on hand for Game 2 of this American League Division Series. The Yankees won the opener 8-0. They lead at the end of 7 tonight, 2-1. Andy Pettitte still on the mound. It'll be Greer, Rodriguez, and Gonzalez here in the 8th inning. First pitch swinging Greer, and he pops it up. Bernie Williams tucks it in the leather, 1 away, and Greer now 0 for 6 in the series. Like to remind you to look out for the Gillette $1 million strike zone challenge coming your way in Game 3 right here on Fox in the American League Championship Series. Well, the crowd already standing and cheering. What an effort tonight by the native Texan, Andy Pettitte. 7 1/3 innings of 1-run baseball. The Yankees turn to the pen in the 8th. Large part to left-hander Andy Pettitte's evening. 7 1/3 innings, allowed 7 hits, only 1 run. He did not walk a batter while fanning 5. But he'll give way with a 1-run lead, 1 out, nobody on in the 8th inning to the right-hander Jeff Nelson from the Yankee bullpen.
Side-arming right-hander Jeff Nelson spent a couple of stints on the disabled list this year with an inflamed right elbow. Had arthroscopic surgery on June 8th to repair some tissue in that right elbow. A small bone spur was removed. Since coming back off the disabled list, he was 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA. Very tough on right-handed hitters. Occasionally will fall in love with that breaking ball, that frisbee-like slider. It will get him in trouble from time to time. He does fall behind in the count quite often, and he does walk a lot of batters.
Well, now he'll try and go through the teeth of this Ranger lineup. Ivan Rodriguez has been aboard twice. 1 for 3 in the game, is singled and reached on an error by Tino Martinez back in the 1st inning. Strike 1. Should Nelson run into any problems here in the 8th inning? Double barrel action in the New York bullpen. They have the left-hander Mike Stanton and the closer Mariano Rivera getting loose. 2 breaking balls in a row, and it's 0-2.
That's that frisbee-like slider, a very flat breaking ball, but it breaks a long distance. He starts that pitch over the plate. It's going to end up out of the strike zone away. If he throws it right at the hitter, it'll break over the heart of the plate.
Rodriguez lucky to get a piece of that slider again from Nelson. Well, the Yankee bullpen in the last 16 games, including the opener of this series, The relievers have gone 5-1 with 4 saves and a 1.21 ERA. They had the best bullpen in the American League this season.
Nelson continuing to work that outside part of the plate on Pudge Rodriguez. Generally, when you get into the 8th and 9th inning of a one-run ball game, when in doubt, stay away from the hitter's strength. Put the ball out there away from him somewhere. He's got to hit it to the big part of the ballpark. If you make a mistake on the inside part of the plate, there's a possibility you could get jerked out of the ballpark. If you make a mistake away, especially in this park, make him hit it to the big part.
Count remaining at 1-2 on Pudge Rodriguez. Juan Gonzalez waits in the on-deck circle. Rangers had a 1-0 lead. Had runners at second and third in the 5th inning with nobody out and failed to add on to that 1-0 advantage. The Yankees tied the game in the bottom of the 5th, took the lead in the 7th. Left that one out there over the plate a little bit. And Rodriguez fouls it back. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, you know the fans, Bobby, the Rangers just continue to just hurt inside, wondering what has happened to this Ranger offense.
Boy, an offense that just lit up the American League on a nightly basis this year. I mean, if you follow these Rangers for 162 games, you have to be puzzled by what has happened to the Rangers offense. A lot of it is the Yankee pitching staff. That time Nelson tries to lead Pudge right out of the strike zone. Started that breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, broke it over into the left-handed batter's box.
Rodriguez digging in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And it's fouled out of play. Again on another breaking pitch from Nelson.
Now, Nelson is basically a 2-pitch pitcher. He will change speeds on that breaking ball from time to time, but throws that sinking fastball that tails into the right-handers and then that flat slider that breaks away from the righties.
Two balls, 2 strikes again on Rodriguez. And it missed just off the outside corner, a little bit low. The count has gone full after Nelson was ahead at 0-2.
Well, the fans thought it was a strike. It's a tailing fastball. He tried to hit the outside corner. Looked like it was just a little bit down.
Yankees trying to take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 divisional series. Rangers desperately need to even things at 1 game apiece before moving on to Arlington. Game 3 will be Saturday. Another foul ball.
Stan with ultimate confidence in that slider. He throws it 3-2. He'll throw it in any count to any hitter. It's really his bread and butter pitch, but as I mentioned earlier, sometimes he goes to it to the exclusion of his hard sinking fastball, which is a very good pitch also.
Again, the 3-2. Did he get him the appeal? Yes, says Tim Wilkie.
Pudge Rodriguez trying to buy a call right there. He checks his swing. Knows he probably went too far, but immediately drops his bat and starts running down that first base line. Takes a peek up to first base, and Tim Welke said, well, you may fool some of the people, but you're not going to fool me. Another slider from Nelson over the plate, breaking down and away.
Well, now the Rangers have Juan Gonzalez at the plate. He homered to left field back in the 4th inning. There's that slider again, and it's outside for ball 1. Gonzalez hoping that Nelson can hang one out there out over the plate, and Gonzalez could knock things up with one big swing of the bat.
Another slider. That one was up and out over the plate, but Gonzalez was out in front and just cued it off the end of the bat. You better make sure you get that slider out off of the outside corner. Gonzalez has got tremendous plate coverage. Can reach out over the plate and pull pitches that are on the outside corner back to left field. And you can see from that stance, long arms, a long bat. He can cover that area of the plate right out there, and that's where they're going.
He did not go around on the appeal this time. 2-1.
Take another look at that check swing from our overhead camera. Another slider down low and away. Time Gonzalez able to hold up, in the opinion of Tim Welke.
2 down, nobody on in the Texas 8th inning, and the Yankees lead by a run. 2-1 on Juan Gonzalez. That was the pitch he was looking for right there. It looked as though he pulled off of it. And now 2-2.
Got way out in front of that breaking ball. You can't sit on a fastball in fastball counts against Jeff Nelson. I mentioned he's got such confidence that he can throw that slider for a strike, or he can throw it out of the strike zone. That time he just floated it up there for the middle of the plate, and Gonzalez way out in front, anticipating a fastball.
Nelson trying to get the ball to Rivera in the 9th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Gonzalez. Struck him out, inning over. Yankees still lead it 2-1. Took that momentum, tying the game in the bottom of the 5th, and took the lead off Helling in the 7th. 2-1 game as the Yankees have a top of the order here in the last of the 8th, and Knobloch looks at strike 1. Through that one by Knobloch, and it's 0-2. Tom Goodwin has taken over for Roberto Kelly in center field.
Just a good high hard fastball here from Crabtree up above the belt to Chuck Knobloch. Very enticing pitch to swing at, very tough to get on top of. Mid-90s. That time Knobloch able to get a piece of it and foul it off. Very similar pitch that time. 97 on the radar gun.
What a job that Crabtree did in that 7th inning after the Yankees had taken the lead. They too had runners at 2nd and 3rd with only 1 out. Then he retired Brocious and Girardi with no further damage. Now the 0-2. Fastball away. We've talked so much about the Rangers and their inability to generate any offense to speak of whatsoever. Turning the clock back to 1996 when they beat the Yankees here in Game 1 of the Division Series. In Game 1, they lost in an extra inning affair in Game 2. They've not beaten the Yanks in the postseason ever since. But Bobby, you started to bring it up. It's one thing to talk about the Rangers' inability to hit. It's another thing to give credit to this Yankee pitching staff, and Joe Torre talked with us about that prior to the game.
Well, the Yankees have a lot of big game pitchers on their staff. And El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, making a name for himself as a big game pitcher, right along with David Cone, Andy Pettitte, and perhaps Roger Clemens. That remains to be seen. Sparkling performance by El Duque in Game 1. Knobloch trying to get some feeling back in those fingers. He's been jammed in on the hands a couple of times here as he got to the 2-strike count.
It's no longer chilly. It's downright cold.
Knobloch staying alive, fouling off those fastballs. Crabtree perhaps needs to go up the ladder a little bit higher. Get those pitches just out of the reach of Chuck Knobloch. He's only able to get a piece of the ball, foul it off, and stay alive.
1-2 again on Knobloch. He had a duck underneath that one. Mike Benefro, the southpaw, getting loose in the Texas bullpen. They obviously cannot allow the Yankees to score again here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Two-two pitch. Goes to 3-2.
You think this team doesn't have one heartbeat? Watch Derek Jeter in the background. Knobloch ducks and he ducks.
2 ducks in a row.
Well, the Yankees have had their ducks lined up for the last couple of seasons.
3-2. One hopper back to the mound. Good play by Crabtree. One away. Boy, this guy's tough, Crabtree. Retired all 3 batters he's faced. Like to remind you, Division Series play continues tomorrow on ESPN. Game 3 from the Astrodome. That series tied 1 apiece, as is the Arizona-New York Mets series. That'll be on NBC tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And then right here on Fox, please join us. Game 3, Cleveland-Boston. The Indians leading 2-0. Of course, everybody in New York here hoping, praying there would be a Subway Series when all is said and done this year. Derek Jeter settles in. Strike one. That'll be a good one tomorrow night over at Shea, Bobby, where you have Omar Dahl, outstanding left-hander for the Diamondbacks, against Rick Reed, who's been on quite a roll for the Mets.
Boy, many times you talk about a team having a roller coaster season. The Mets have had a roller coaster last week of the season. They were counted out and gone and managed to come back and work themselves into a position as Jeter singles into right field. We talked about with Jeter earlier in the ball game, his ability to inside out pitches. Take a fastball that would normally jam a right-handed hitter, pull his hands in close to the body and hit the ball to the opposite field. Find a way to get the big part of the bat on the baseball.
Well, now with a left-handed batting Paul O'Neill coming up, Benefro will be summoned from the bullpen. Yankees lead 2-1. 1 on, 1 out in the 8th. Defending world champions lead game 2 in this division series over Texas 2-1. 1 on, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Paul O'Neill coming up, and Mike Benefro is summoned from the bullpen.
Benefro very tough on left-handed hitters. The sidearm delivery. See the fine ERA. Not a strikeout pitcher. Batters generally put the ball in play against him, but not with a lot of authority. 65 appearances this season, tied for second on the staff.
Benefro ineffective in game 1 of this series. O'Neill with 1 on and 1 out. Pitch on the way is outside. O'Neill managed a base hit against the left-hander in game 1, and then Williams played long ball. Tonight 0 for 3, twice his fly to left, and bounced into a fielder's choice at the shortstop Clayton back in the 4th inning. On the ground and through the hole into left field, a base hit by O'Neill, so he's done it 2 straight at bats against the left-hander Venafro, and now it's going to be Bernie Williams with 2 on and 1 out.
Well, many left-handed hitters don't get good swings against Venafro, but Paul O'Neill just fights off this fastball, grounds it hard through the left side past Todd Zeile. It may not have been a pretty swing, but that was an effective swing, fighting off a very tough pitch.
Chad Curtis will come on to pinch run now for Paul O'Neill at first base. So O'Neill able to reach base for a second straight game against a Texas reliever. And now Williams. Two on, 1 out for Williams. And he's hit with a pitch. Venafro and Rodriguez are going to appeal, asking whether or not Williams swung at that ball before it hit it.
Well, it appeared on first look that Bernie Williams turned his lower body into the ball, but did not start the bat. Big slider that broke inside on Bernie Williams. Catches him on that back thigh, the right thigh, and then it hits Pudge Rodriguez as well. You can see Rodriguez immediately asking for an appeal. That pitch just kept bearing in on Bernie Williams. He was not willing to give with the pitch in the event it was a fastball. And Pudge still thinks he swung at that pitch.
Now it'll be Tino Martinez with the bases loaded and only 1 out. Yankees in front 2-1, last of the 8th inning. Martinez 1 for 2 has scored both Yankee runs tonight. And Venafro delivers. Broken bat roller coming home is Stevens, and they get the force play at home. Fine play on both ends by Stevens and Rodriguez. 2 away in the inning. Boy, that's a big play for Texas.
A huge play for Texas. Nice play by Stevens. Great play by Pudge Rodriguez. You see Martinez gets jammed badly, hits the slow roller to the right side. Stevens has to throw back across his body, and Pudge Rodriguez makes like a first baseman, stretching out there, catching the throw, coming off the plate as Jeter slides by, out at the dish.
Clay Bellinger is due up as a designated hitter. He came on to run, you may remember, for Chili Davis. But instead, Joe Torre will summon the hero of postseasons past, Jim Leyritz.
Big numbers with bases loaded for Jim Leyritz in his career. This is his time of year. He likes it when the leaves turn. 7 of his 12 postseason hits have been home runs.
But none bigger, of course, than the home run he hit off Mark Wohlers back in that 1996 World Series. The Yankees brought Leyritz back late in the season for situations just like this. Bases loaded for the native of Cincinnati, Ohio, who grew up with his idol Pete Rose. 2 away in the inning. And Leyritz looks at a fast strike on the outside corner. Boy, everything about his whole batting stance, the way he prepares himself in the box. If you close your eyes and think back to number 14 with the Reds. Batting stance is not similar, but the way he'll take pitches, watching it all the way into the mitt. Just like that.
He's hit postseason home runs against Seattle, Baltimore, Atlanta, and Houston. None against the Texas Rangers.
Bases loaded, 2 away to Laritz. And the 1-1 pitch. Inside, 2-1. Waits in Venafro, the pause, and out of 2-1. Outside, 3 balls and a strike.
Ideal hitter's count here for Jim Laritz. Look for one pitch in one location. If it's not there, you take it. The runners will be on the move on the full count pitch.
3-1 delivering. And he takes ball 4, and Venafro has walked in a run. 3-1 Yankees. While not as dramatic, Laritz brings home another Yankee run in the postseason.
And perhaps Jim Laritz's reputation got him this base on balls. Venafro not even close with the 3-1 pitch. Paul O'Neill loves it over on that Yankee bench.
Bases still loaded, 3-1 New York advantage, and now it's Leday, a bouncing ball that Venafro has, and that'll retire the side, but they tack on a run and will give the ball to Rivera from the Yankee pen, leading 3-1.
League pitcher of the month for the month of August, did not allow an earned run. Great movement on his fastball in the mid-90s. Big game experience, that goes without saying. Rivera unusually only struck out 52 batters this year in 69 innings. Each year his strikeout total has gone down per inning by design. Joe Torre, Mel Stottlemyre wanted him to get outs without having to strike out batters. He now also throws a 2-seam sinking fastball to go along with that high 4-seamer. Hitters around the American League will tell you it's not so much the velocity on his pitches, it's that smooth, easy delivery and then the ball just exploding out of Rivera's hand.
Rivera did not allow a run in his final 28 appearances of the season, converting his last 22 save opportunities at strike 1 on Palmeiro, who's 2 for 3. How about that number? 195-3 for the Yankees when leading after 8 and unbeaten in the postseason.
Slamming the door, Mariano Rivera has been doing that for the Yankees. Perfect 2-0 record with 7 saves and the lowest ERA in Major League history in postseason.
Fouled out of play, but this Ranger team has come from behind so many times this year. 45 come from behind wins. 25 of those have taken place from the 7th inning or later. A tall order tonight. Trailing 3-1 against Rivera here in the 9th inning. One and 2 to Palmeiro. Be sure to stay tuned to Fox for your late local news immediately following the game. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Palmeiro. Got him swinging to open the ninth. For those of you who want more coverage of tonight's game, turn to your local Fox Sports Net affiliate for Fox Sports News.
A good pitch for strike 3 to Rafael Palmeiro. A little cut fastball on the inside corner that runs even further in. Palmeiro only struck out 69 times on the season in 565 at bats, but you don't see many 95-mile-an-hour cut fastballs right in on your kneecaps.
Seal a fly ball into right field. Leday has moved from left to right, and he makes a catch. And the Rangers are down to their final out. Our game tonight, produced by Jeff Gowan, directed by Jim Lynch. We thank our entire crew. We hope you've enjoyed it. Pre-game show produced by Gary Lang, directed by Bob Liebel. Thanks to our technical producer, Craig Marlowe. The senior producer of Fox Sports, Bill Brown. The executive producers at Fox Sports, Ed Gorin and David Hill. So the Yankees an out away from going up 2-love in the best of 5. Tom Goodwin bats and takes strike 1. This Yankee team, Bobby, they get to the postseason. Some felt at times they were sleepwalking during this regular year. But boy, the big stage, the bright lights, and here they come again.
Well, I'm not so sure I agree with that sleepwalking during the regular season statement, but they're wide awake right now.
In the city that never sleeps. Oh, and 2 to Goodwin. Rivera trying to put the finishing touch on this one, and has. Told us before the game, pitching has made him the manager that has won so many games in the Bronx. Tonight, no different.
Tonight, absolutely no different. Andy Pettitte with a big game performance, gave up only the 1 run on a solo home run by Juan Gonzalez. Great work out of the bullpen by Jeff Nelson, Mariano Rivera. They retire the only 5 men they face.
So a tall order facing the Rangers as they head back to Arlington, trailing 2-0. The Yankees in pursuit of their 3rd World Series title in the last 4 years. It would be their 25th World Series title here in the Bronx. Andy Pettitte, Jeff Nelson, and Mariano Rivera combine on a 7-hitter. Yankees